Greetings, everyone. Blessings to everybody that's online. Shalom. Um, Glad to be able to teach this class this time around November. I always offer a free blood pressure class every year since 2017. I see we're going to have a lot more followers online rather than inside the studio at the moment. But you guys, before we get started, I got to talk my mess. Because it's a lot of people that are, they're going through things and they stubborn at the same time, But I got all these options out here for us to heal, and it only costs $5 a month. I'm talking about cheaper than insurance, cheaper than water, cheaper than all that. So I believe that people need a specific plan for their year. They need to be detoxing at the first of the year. They need to do some parasite cleansing in the middle of the year. They need to do some liver detoxing. Need to do hydration protocols. We got all that set up in the Total Detox group. And it's there right there for your healing, and we can do this for life. We can keep this going the same schedule that we do every year for life. And that's how we're going to keep ourselves healthy, keep ourselves in line, And that's better than an insurance policy to me. I think so. So you guys, don't act so stubborn when it comes to $5 a month. It's just an energy exchange. That's what I call it. That's all it is. So hopefully you guys understand that when you guys get back online, join the Total Detox group. It's very beneficial. We're going to teach you how to make bread just from vegetables. We're going to teach you how to eat plant-based, all the different remedies that we have in there as far as what to do for your metabolism, what to do for your cholesterol. So many different remedies are right there. You don't even have to go on Google and search anymore. You're getting it right here from your herbal chemist, right there in the group. Type in the search button, what you're looking for, and you'll find your solution right there. That simple. And then if you have any other questions, I'm always right there. And I go live in that group all the time. So if you don't realize that you don't see me live on my personal page a lot, even though there's like 15,000 followers on this particular page, just come into the group. That's where you'll see me. So we have a blood pressure program. Everybody knows different ways that they are developing high blood pressure. Can you tell me? Anybody interactively can tell me some different causes of blood pressure issues. Stress. Yeah. Cortisol, adrenaline, stress. Yeah, that's for sure. I like to try to make all my classes interactive. So just want to see if anybody else got any answers. Alcohol can do it. Other stimulants like caffeine, stuff like that will increase. So if you got this routine where you drink your coffee in the morning, right, and then at night you drink your alcohol, that routine right there might put you in a position of cardiac arrest in the future. It might keep your pressure elevated. So I kind of developed this little board up here. I did this all today. It was a big rush, but at the same time, I made it all beautiful just for you guys. So some of you guys are in these ranges right here. And if you're going through hypertension, most of the people I know, they're in this range of stage 1, which is between 130 to 140. We got to understand what the systolic is and what the diastolic is. The systolic is basically your top number. It's reflecting the force that's being produced from the heart and coming into the body. So, and the diastolic is basically that bottom number, where the pressure is in your vessels, but it's at rest and right between where the heart pumps and right when it stops. So right between that area is the diastolic pressure. So you guys need to know how they are measuring your blood pressure. And you guys need to know what's inside of your blood. I did a class. I've been 10 years on YouTube. So I think it was about 9 years ago, I did a class on what's in your blood. What are they testing for? And in college, we did a centrifugation process, I would say. So you get 100 milliliters inside of a vial. All right, this is what this is, a blood vial. And 55%, once you put it into the centrifugation process, is circling around really, really fast. And it's going to separate your contents of your blood. So 55% of this 100 milliliter vial is your plasma. All right. A lot of people don't know that 90% of the plasma is water. So when they say your blood is thicker than water, did they look at the plasma part? So I'm just thinking that way because water is all through there. You got to have hydration. It's your fluid balance. You got to have good osmolality. So 90% of that is water. And the other 9.5% would be proteins, stuff like albumin. You got your waste products. All of that is coming from how the DNA is being methylated, and you have your waste products in there. But those waste products can also be endogenous toxins that are coming from over-methylations, under-methylations. But also you got ions in there. Anybody know what ions is inside your plasma? Ions is basically negative, positively charged ions. All right, these are your positive ones are calcium, potassium, magnesium. Right? We know about those. The negative ones are like chloride. So you got to have some chloride in there. So those are your ions right there. What about your gases? You got some gases in there. Of course, oxygen is a gas. Carbon dioxide is a gas. Right? So those are little bitty increment parts of this 55% of your total blood count. Then you got your nutrients. All right, so a lot of your B vitamins is in your blood. Okay, so when a person is on dialysis, a lot of that stuff gets stripped out. So they don't get a chance to renew all of these different nutrients, these ions, these electrolytes, and all these different things that's going on. They get stripped right out. A lot of that, they're trying to get the waste products out, but this is the reason why in my program, I have to reintroduce it 30 minutes after they get off the dialysis machine so they can get that mineralization back again. So it's very hard to deal with that, but we got to make sure that they get those minerals and nutrients back in. All right, so the middle part is called a buffy coat. It's all white right there. It is your white blood cells, and it's only 1% of this total blood volume right here. And this is where all of our white blood cells are at. This is your leukocytes, your lymphocytes, and those are important because these are where T helper cells is at. This is where you actually can overcome different cancers and help your immune system. This is where your immune system is at right here. That buffy coat right there. The next part is 45% of your your total blood count. It would be your red blood cells. These are called erythrocytes. They have some hormones in there, erythropoietin, just because of the red blood cells. But that's 45%. So that's what's inside of our blood, people. That's what's inside of our blood. Of course, we try to get rid of our impurities, our toxins, and the way we get rid of that is certain herbs. We're going to talk about all of these different herbs that help you get rid of those blood impurities. If somebody was ever going through anemia, this is what happens in your red blood cells. But then the oxygen that has to be taken, that is having that oxygen exchange, that's happening in your plasma. So understand how that works. So knowing our different levels, I don't want any of my people going into a high stroke crisis because of their pressure being so high. I've seen people that have blood pressure as high as 215 over 130. Very high, very, very high. This is a crisis, I would call it. And they're about to get ready to go to the hospital. A lot of times our arteries get damaged when they are at that high amount. 215, vessels could be perforated, meaning they got little holes in it. We just said that smoking could cause this situation, right? Alcohol keeps your elevation of your blood pressure. But then you're having a bad diet, having a poor diet. We already know that processed foods do not belong in our system. Hydrogenated oils are all through there, which is the polyunsaturated vegetable oils, the canola oils that become rancid, and they basically cause a lot of arterial plaque. So understand that, high blood pressure can be caused by a whole bunch of different things. What if your blood was sticky? Sticky because you've been having a lot of sugar and proteins, and it creates a coagulation and creates a blood clot. All right. So when that happens and that blood clot moves, you can have a brain attack, which is called a stroke. So this method that I'm showing you guys today on my blood pressure program is like an after stroke recovery program. You can use it for that. You can use it for anybody that has had a heart attack. You can use it for those people that are just having high blood pressure and do not want to have a heart attack. So I did not bring up all of my supplies up here. You guys know that a sedentary lifestyle is definitely going to create some stiffness. This stiffens you, It causing the calcium to come out into the blood vessels and basically causing those vessels to become hardened. This is atherosclerotic plaque that hardens on our inside of our wall. I wanted to, if this was already edited, guys, I would have been able to blow this up for the people that's online, just to show them that plaque starts to build up. Your erythrocytes, which is your red blood cells, and this plaque, cholesterol is supposed to be a buffer for the plaque. The cholesterol actually, I drew this out before. The cholesterol stops this from closing completely, and it acts as a buffer for that plaque. The plaque is basically buildup of just, we didn't get these toxins out. We got to get it out. So you guys got to understand that this is a metabolic syndrome. Okay, so what I mean by metabolic syndrome is that you can have diabetes, you can have high blood sugar, and you end up with having high blood pressure. You can have high cholesterol and end up having high blood pressure. So diabetes, high LDL, all of that is a metabolic situation. It happens to deal with our metabolism. Even with our pancreas having high insulin, that would be a metabolic situation as well. All right. Even when your liver has high bilirubin, you can end up having a metabolic syndrome as well, because there are certain systems inside of our kidneys that needs to operate properly, and it has a significant role when it comes to regulating our blood pressure. So I've picked out 4 different mechanisms that really helps our blood pressure stays regulated, which is our renin-angiotensin aldosterone system. This is called a ROS system. All right, so it's very complicated, I would say. I don't have the time to teach all the biochemical pathways of it, but this starts off in the kidneys, in the nephrons, and it releases renin. And once renin is released, this is a hormone, and when it releases, it causes constriction of the blood vessels. Also, when renin is converted over into angiotensin, you have 2 of them, angiotensin 1 angiotensin 1 and then 2. That's how they convert. Then once that converts over, it turns into aldosterone. And aldosterone is usually found in our lungs, right? So angiotensin 1 and 2 is found in our liver. So it goes around in this circle. All right, so renin starts in our kidneys, goes to our liver, then goes to our lungs, and comes back down to this is how this works. So I don't want to go through the whole biochemical process, but we have to be able to support this system. There are certain pharmaceutical drugs that block these systems. Okay? And we may need them to work. But if you have high blood pressure, we're going to be able to figure out how to stop it from the root. All right, so I found out some ways, and I know that a lot of herbalists probably won't be able to go through the mechanism of action of that herb. All right, so this is chemistry, guys, and I want to share with you guys how to cross-reference these pharmaceuticals into herbs, or just I can show you ways that you can beat high blood pressure just by using vitamins and minerals. That simple. And just your diet. You really don't even need the herbs, but I want to expedite your healing by using the herbs. We also got to regulate our fluid balance. Like I was saying, that our plasma is 90% water. You should have good fluid balance. That's why we perform our hydration protocol, and we try to drink 8 ounces every 30 minutes for 4 hours. We take a 2-hour break, go back to it for the next 4 hours every 30 minutes, 8 ounces of water. And we can get in a gallon of water within that one day. All right, so we got a system right there to change our fluid balance so that we can stay hydrated in our cells. The more hydrated in our cells, we can stop fermentation of those cells. Fermentation actually is a cancer. Okay? When I say cancer, it's a chronically fermenting cell. All right, so keep our cells hydrated, you'll be able to beat that situation. So you want to keep this balance. All right. Sodium balance. You realize, like, there are certain things like diuretics. I'm gonna go ahead and tie this in together because when they are using diuretics, and I want you all to understand the suffix of the word diuretics. You need to understand that thiazides, anything that ends with the thiazide or azide, like hydrochlorothiazide, they use those as diuretics to prevent sodium reabsorption. This is happening in the loop of Henle inside of the nephrons, and they're causing certain areas in the nephrons to stop sodium reabsorption. All right, so within that being said, diuretics is also excreting other minerals. All right, so you're losing a lot of different things. Your chloride ions, okay, you're stopping them from reabsorbing. And then you're increasing the amount of urine that's being produced. So you realize that when people are on diuretics, they usually urinate a lot, trying to take the pressure off of the vessels, as they would say. All right, so if you regulate the sodium balance, you'll take pressure off of the vessels. And your vessels are muscles, guys. Don't forget that. Don't forget that vessels are muscles, and they must stay dilated or constricting. So all of them have to, you have to stop being so sedentary. You got to move it. You got to move your muscles. And our muscles is the biggest organ of our body. If you realize that every little part of our vessel can constrict or narrow, which is this part of the vessel is narrowing around the plaque now. So there have ways to open up those by using vasodilating hormones, and that's still dealing with the ROS system. And so we use ACE inhibitors for that. So I want to go over some of the medications, guys. The medications, and let me pause for a second. I just want to let everybody know that everybody should be putting @followers on their, Yeah, put highlights, put at highlights on your, put highlights on there. Because everybody's going to need this information. You know, there's so many people that's on blood pressure medications that don't need to be on it. You know, this is not something we should be running to the doctors for. You know, asking for a Band-Aid when it only gets worse. You got to realize that blood pressure medications are going to cause some deficiencies. I wrote up a list of nutritional deficiencies that all of these different classifications, that's what this is. When you're, as a herbalist, you should be able to cross-reference these things and be able to find herbs that are actually diuretics, like dandelion. Dandelion is a diuretic. Juniper berries are diuretics. Uva ursi, those work really good with the kidneys. It helps you excrete more urine and take pressures off the vessels. Cleaver's herb acts well with the lymphatic system and takes a lot of the pressure off and the water retention that can develop from sodium reabsorption. So I'm not even going to write those things down for you guys. I hope you guys are listening. So put at followers, put at highlights. Hopefully you guys are already on board. All right. So diuretics, what kind of deficiencies are you expecting? Because there's 4 different types of diuretics. You got potassium diuretics. We have loop diuretics. We got thiazide diuretics. All of them are going to cause some muscle weakness, some fatigue, some irregular heartbeat, because we're going to need the potassium. Your heart needs it. Your muscles need it. Anytime you don't have enough potassium, it takes away from your sodium. So they both balance each other. You got magnesium and calcium that balances each other. So if they're not balanced, then you're going to start having muscle cramps, weakness, irregular heartbeats. All of that's going to start happening. You may even start to develop osteoporosis, you know, because most women, estrogen is already kind of dominant, I would say. Yeah, because estrogen is more in women. So that will have a big effect on their calcium. So they're going to need more calcium in their system. They don't want to lose that by taking diuretics because you'll develop some tingling, some numbness in your lower extremities, your hands, your feet. So you really have to protect yourself when it comes to this. You can use herbs that's not going to cause the release of these ions, these positively charged ions that are needed. What about beta blockers? Beta blockers are prescription drugs that cause the block in the release of stress hormones, like adrenaline and like noradrenaline. Those two work hand in hand. Noradrenaline would be called norepinephrine, or epinephrine would be adrenaline. Same thing. And they want to block those hormones because they stimulate the ROS system. All right. In the kidneys, there's this juxtaglobulin gland that's secreting the renin, and that's where it starts. So if you can stop adrenaline from stimulating this system, then you won't have any vasoconstriction. You actually have vasodilation, and it'll open up those blood vessels so you won't have a lot of that happening. So that's what the beta blocker is doing. We got herbs that do that. Yeah, we got herbs that do that. I'm going to share with you guys what herbs do that. And in a second. Then we got things that the beta blockers are causing deficiencies in. They're also draining your magnesium and your calcium. Beta blockers also release B1 and B6. So if you're becoming depleted or diminished in vitamin B1, you're going to have some fatigue. Your heart's going to start getting weak because thiamine is very important for your heart. If you ever want to rejuvenate your heart muscle, you want to make sure you have good thiamine and magnesium. Okay, so if you don't have B1, you'll find out that you'll get some type of neuropathy, some type of sciatica, nerve damage going on, because B1 is what's going to help you with the conduction of that electricity in your nerve. All right. You also get muscle weakness. So it seems like all these drugs, even if they put you on 1 or 2 or 3 of these drugs, you're going to be weak. Your muscles are going to be weak. Your bones are going to be, you're going to be tired putting on all these different medications. And if you put on them for long enough or a high enough dose, it can cause psychosis. Because guess what? You're losing vitamin B6. Vitamin B6 is always important for all of our neurotransmitters. All right. Your neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, acetylcholine, GABA, all those neurotransmitters, you can't make it without B6. So you easily become depressed. And if you're depleted enough by having high dose of a calcium channel blocker or ACE inhibitor, like I said, you can create a psychotic episode. You're going to need calcium. And there's a reason why calcium is important for every synapse in your brain. That's how you get the conduction in those areas. Your axons are needed for the calcium channel ions. So drugs like amlodipine. A lot of people heard of amlodipine. And I posted a long time ago about amlodipine causing a chronic cough, and a lady had to get surgery on her larynx because she was taking amlodipine and atorvastatin, which is a cholesterol-lowering drug. She was taking those two together, and she basically developed a chronic cough. But if you notice the word ping up at the end, you'll find a whole bunch of drugs that are calcium channel blockers. So that's how you identify the calcium channel blockers. You'll see the suffix of that name. Just like Prolol, you'll see that suffix on all of the beta blockers. All right. So what these do, calcium channel blockers basically blocks all the influx of calcium ions from entering the heart, muscle cells, and it causes vasodilation. Not only is it blocking from getting in the heart, it's blocking it from getting in the brain, it's blocking it from getting in different areas of the body. So it's a lot of things going on with just calcium channel blockers. All right. But so calcium channel blockers are also creating a deficiency. It creates a deficiency in CoQ10. Now we need CoQ10 to create muscles, cellular membranes. Our immune system needs CoQ10. So you can have some more muscle weakness. We can have more impaired immune function just from having calcium channel blockers. Now, I'm going to get into all of these things when it comes to the program that I put for high blood pressure. But like I was saying earlier about ACE inhibitors. ACE inhibitors are really good. I think they're good because they actually block the ROS system. It prevents vasoconstriction, I would say, because it stops the angiotensin 1 from developing. It stops the angio 2 from developing. And also, with that being said, the aldosterone cannot be secreted. So there's no more constriction by using an ACE inhibitor. All right, so it may decrease the amount of aldosterone hormone because you do need that for certain parts of your lungs. So it's important. But ACE inhibitors do a good thing. I would rather choose an ACE inhibitor like lisinopril. If you see the word pril at anything, there's many different other drugs. I wish I had I don't have it. But those things are actually causing deficiencies in zinc and vitamin D. Also calcium. You need vitamin D to help regulate calcium. So when I was talking about the brain losing its synapses and everything, if you add more vitamin D, you'll be able to have sharper thoughts at that too. It'll help multiple different things. It'll help your immune system. It'll add to your, I would say, healing your bones. Yeah, because osteoporosis won't develop if you have good vitamin D. For all the ladies that are having mood swings, vitamin D is going to help with your circadian rhythm. So it's for sleep. ACE inhibitors basically will cause a zinc deficiency and a melatonin deficiency. Vitamin D and melatonin go hand in hand. If you realize that if you disrupt your sleep, you're going to have bad moods. Right? You're going to have some bad moods. And melatonin, since that's depleted by the ACE inhibitor, you will develop insomnia. Okay. A lot of people don't realize that zinc is a part of our womb healing. Whenever there is a laceration, like a bed sore or something like that, if you have taken any of these drugs, which is a calcium channel and ACE inhibitor, they will deplete the zinc. You have a slow, delayed healing. It'll stay longer because you don't have any zinc. Okay? All right, so that's a lot of our deficiencies in coming with all these different drugs. All right. So now that we know about the drugs, because I did a class on drug-induced diseases, and we talked about a whole bunch of different things other than blood pressure. But I never got a chance to go over all these classifications of different drugs and be able to break it down so you'll know what to use, because we got to put this stuff back in. If you're on medication, you got to put this stuff back in. So it's going to be a remineralization process. But you guys, I got a program on the website called the blood pressure program. I have a study that we're doing in my group. I got eight participants. Should be a lot more, but I already got 2 people off of 2 of their medications. And I'm very proud of them because all they did was just follow a program. One sheet of paper that I've developed that can help them stay on track from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. And they follow this for the next 3 months. And I'm trying to make sure that they get off their medication. So I got to wean off a weaning process. And I developed a new product called Pressure Down. You guys may see this being advertised on there. Pressure Down formula goes along with the Pressure Down tea. And I want to give you guys some instructions on that in a second. But before you even get there, we got to realize that your vessels are muscles. You have to condition yourself. You have to put some weight bearing on those bones. Some exercises. I would say start off slow, but condition yourself to get to the point of high intensity interval training, so that you can be doing squats, because that's going to create some vasodilation, and juicing. If I had enough people right now, I probably would have developed some juice, the ABC drink that I usually make and give to the clients. The ABC drink is apples, beets, and celery, or apples, beets, or carrots. Either way, all of that works. But what you're doing with the apples, it's more like got the antioxidants in it. You got the beets that has your nitric oxide, has a lot of ways to increase dilation in the vessels. And celery will add more water to your plasma. But we use the Total Detox program. A lot of you guys already know that this program comes with a colon cleanse, a lung and respiratory cleanse, a blood detox, a kidneys and pancreas, and a liver and gallbladder. And so you got 5 bottles right here. And I call that the Total Body Detox. And it's specific. We have to go through a liver flush first, to make sure that we have good absorption of our nutrients and that we can get rid of all of the coagulation that's in our bile ducts, our pancreatic duct. There's a lot of stagnation in that area right before it gets to the duodenum. And in that area is where a lot of parasites like to hang out at. Okay, so the colon cleanse has some black walnut in there that can help deal with some of those. This is not really a parasite cleanse, but we do get rid of our gallstones that way. And the gallstones can cause us to have high cholesterol. It can cause us to be burping all the time if you never knew that you had gallstones. You may find that you have right shoulder pain just because of the gallstones. So after you get rid of the gallstones, which only takes about 3 days, because the surgery takes about 20 minutes just to take out your gallbladder, and it costs $9,000. So you can do the liver flush protocol that can get rid of this in like 48 hours, and it only costs you about $10. And no surgery. You don't have to get anything taken from you. So everybody knows I developed the liver flush protocol from I would say it's a rediscovery. I look back into the 1800s, 1890, when they developed the liver flush protocol, and all I did was just make it better. Just made it better so that we can get rid of these stones. They can't see this on an MRI. It's coagulated, meaning it's sticky, so it's not really developed as a full stone. But once you see them come out, they're all little lime green stones. We got pictures of them in our group. Hopefully you guys can join in the group and find out. And you can compare your stones once you do the liver flush yourself. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't come out of number 1. It comes out of number 2, so don't get scared. All right, so liver flush is first before you start the total detox. The total detox is actually 15 capsules at 3 p.m. Okay, keep that in mind. That's how we work this. We have our breakfast first. We have our lunch next. And we do not want any type of gastrointestinal disturbance. So that's why we kind of take it around that time so that everybody can be safe with this. Okay. On our routine, inside of the regulating blood pressure, the schedule, we check our blood pressure at 7 a.m. as soon as we wake up. We got to understand that our cortisol, our blood glucose levels, our insulin levels, these all is increasing at I would say about 5 a.m., 6 a.m. as we're about to get ready to wake up. Everything has been lowered. Our subconscious is being lowered while we're sleeping. So we got to understand that by the time we get ready to wake up, you can do a cortisol hack by going out into the sun. This is one of the things I put on here, is that you should sun gaze the first 15 minutes that the sun rises. It actually lower down your stress. Okay. And you'll find that your pressure will be lower in the morning rather than being high in the morning if you do that. All right. The other hack that I found out is that if you guys would take a cold shower, just take a cold shower for about 5 minutes, you'll find that you have some self-regulating mechanisms going on in your body that basically calm down cortisol. Cortisol calms down blood pressure, and all of that seems to work hand in hand. And your body will come back to a normal state of temperature. So we do that around 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. what time you wake up. 9 a.m. you want to make sure that you're exercising. And since we're already going to be working on squats and cardio, and if you are overweight, that is another way to have high blood pressure as well. We know that the what they call adipocytes, these are your fat cells, which has hormones. They actually create more fat, so and that can raise up your blood pressure as well. So being on the obese side is a culprit kind of towards diabetes. And with that being said, high glucose, high cortisol can also increase blood pressure. So cardio is going to be necessary for your weight loss. Trying to get yourself at a good BMI. So lifestyle changes. You can't be having the same old habits that you were doing before. No smoking, no alcohol, all of the snacks and stuff that you're eating throughout the day that's causing your sugars to spike. You guys already know these things. You know these things. But I don't want you guys to be like, duh, I'm going to go ahead and eat it anyway. Because there's a lot of people that do that. All right? Because maybe it's not you. Maybe it's the parasites. I'm just going to say it. Because a lot of us already know these things and we do not actually take heed to it. And we got to do it. We got to do it. So I want you guys to make a Shalom healing water. I didn't put that up here. The Shalom healing water is basically vitamins. I did. So the Shalom healing water is basically chlorophyll. Got chlorophyll in there, which has magnesium. Right. Every plant will have some magnesium with it. Also, it has your B vitamins. So you can have B1 in there, B6. I will add also B3. B3 is niacin, guys. So if you ever had atherosclerotic plaque, niacin can help you shake off that plaque. All right. It can help you dissolve that plaque. This also needs B12 in here too as well. And I will add B9 also. Because some people have methylation issues, might have a mitochondrial dysfunction where they're not respirating fast enough. So I add the B9. These are just a B complex will probably work best, but you're not going to get the amount that you would get normally, say 100 milligrams of each one of these and 2,400 mcgs of those two. So that's your Shalom healing water. Some of us that are going through osteoporosis, because this is something that is happening in a lot of ladies, because of the calcium, you may want to add boron to this water. Make your bones harder. And the way that we do it in the group, we use borax. We use the detergent. You know, it's very cheap, about $2 a box, and put 1/4 of a teaspoon of borax inside of that water. And I guarantee you'll feel stronger when you're working out in the gym. All right, so the pressure down tea. I kind of want to go over the mechanism of action of each one of these herbs and burdock root. All right, so there's burdock root inside of, let me get this one. Inside of the pressure down teas, you have dandelion root, you have burdock root. Got like 1.5 ounces of each one of these inside of this tea box. So a lot of people don't know that dandelion actually works really good for your liver. Okay, angiotensin 1 and 2 is inside of the liver, and dandelion root can help clear out certain pathways and actually induce this inhibition, which is preventing of angiotensin 1 and 2. Also, the burdock root comes in and gets rid of certain impurities. Okay, so you're going to be getting rid of waste products, all of our cytochrome 450s that are inside of our liver. These are liver enzymes. They're going to produce, they're going to be titrating, elevating sometimes, decreasing sometimes. So they're going to create waste products. Burdock root is one of the things that helps get rid of those impurities. All right, so if you've never heard anybody say it before, burdock root, dandelion is one of the best things for your liver, but it also helps your blood pressure. Okay, so if you get rid of the waste and also inhibit some of the angiotensin 1 and 2, you're going to have better vasodilation just from using dandelion root and burdock root. The next two I have in here is hawthorn berry and hibiscus. Hawthorn berry, basically a bunch of berries in here. The berries acts as a vasodilator. All right. The berries also has a lot of magnesium and vitamin B1. So we are able to put these things back in our system. This is why this is working for a lot of people. A lot of people use this pressure down box and don't realize, why is this working? Like, why is my pressure down? I've already put together the chemistry. That's why. All right. So, hibiscus is a rhythm regulator. It tastes really good too. Some people call it sorrel. All right. So, if you were to just have some heart palpitations or arrhythmias, you could just drink hibiscus tea by itself and it'll correct that situation. So this is the pressure down tea. I got this set up so that you can take all of these out of the box, out of the bags, put them in a big bag, shake it up, and take out 10 grams every time you use 32 ounces of water. And you can drink that 3 times a day, twice a day, and it'll keep your pressure down just by using herbs, right? All right. Now, I got something up here that I found during my mental health class. I was studying schizophrenia, and I found this herb that was like amazing. And I had to get it all the way from, where did I get this? Indonesia. It's called Indian snake root. Indian snake root actually is inside of here. It's formulated. I put 185 milligrams. This is the most inside of this formula. I got other things that are going on here, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But Indian snake root has a active pharmaceutical ingredient. They actually use this in pharmacology. It's called reserpine. Reserpine basically will inhibit norepinephrine or noradrenaline. So it works on your adrenergic receptors in your brain and in your adrenals. So if you can stop these adrenergic receptors, like renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system, those also operate on that same system. If you can inhibit that, then you won't have any vasoconstriction, right? You won't have any aldosterone releasing from your lungs or your angiotensin releasing from your liver, all because we just inhibited it with reserpine, with Indian snake root. So a very powerful herb that can stop this whole system from becoming constriction. Yeah, so Indian snake root is a powerful herb. A lot of herbalists do not use this because maybe they don't know. This is chemistry, kid. This is chemistry. Also in here is kudzu root. I put the kudzu root in here because as I was studying alcohol use disorder, we know that alcohol, if it's a lot of our blood content, if it's in there, then it's going to cause elevation of our blood. All right, so our blood pressure. But if you use the kudzu root, it will reduce the amount of oxidative stress that's going around in your silent inflammation. Also, if you do drink alcohol, it's going to stop your taste buds from wanting it. You know, so kudzu root actually is a herb that is found in, I would say, almost everywhere. It covers everything. When it, I would say, Japanese use it, Chinese use it, and a lot of people in the Western side of the world should be using it because you can still find it in different places like Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina. Anywhere near the Appalachian Mountains, it will be covered like a vine. So kudzu root definitely can increase your metabolism. All right, so kudzu root is good for diabetes. Any type of cardiovascular situation is protective because it reduces the oxidative stress. So I put this in there. It's about 100 milligrams in there. I think all herbalists should know exactly what's inside that capsule. And I'm just picking on them because I know it. I know it because this is what I do. Hawthorn berry is also in here because we need to add more B1, and we also need to act as a vasodilator. The other parts that I put in here is nutraceuticals. You have potassium chloride. We know that we were missing potassium. We have about 65 milligrams of potassium in here. We got magnesium glycinate. I'll put that in here up here when it comes to our muscle repair. And we also have taurine, which is really good for the heart. So this is a nutraceutical. This is not a herbal blend. Okay. All right. Keep that in mind. All right. So that's the mechanism of action when it comes to the pressure down tea and the pressure down formula. Hope you guys understand how this is being worked out. I know for a fact that I can get my people off of pharmaceutical drugs within 3 months just by using this protocol. All right. The other part, the remineralization process. So you do this within the first 30 days. Up here is the first 30 days. Then within the second month, you want to start kind of like getting yourself ready for weaning off. You want to start putting in all of these minerals that you've been taking out, taking those pharmaceuticals. Even if you don't have, or even if you're not taking pharmaceutical drugs, you still want to make sure that you're adding these things in. So keeping your blood vessels protected, keeping them soft, keeping them flexible, keeping them being able to, move like they're supposed to and strong. You want to add some omega-3s. You want to make some good omega-6s. Now, some people look strange when they see omega-6s because sometimes the wrong omega-6 can be inflammatory, like the hydrogenated oils, like the vegetable oils. They do have omega-6, but they are inflammatory. The ones that I'm talking about are parent essential oils. And this is your wheat germ oil. Wheat germ oil is known to make everything soft again. It lubricates your nerves, right? So it can stop those sciatica, nerve damage that's caused from the lack of B1. This also has omega-3 and omega-6 in it. Some other oils that are really good for this would be evening primrose oil. You want to have the oils that have high GLA, which is gamma linolenic acid. Gamma linolenic acid is a good way to just protect your vessels, protect your myelin sheath. Your myelin sheath is what's surrounding your nerve that can become damaged when there's neuropathy. All right, so make sure that you add about 600 milligrams of wheat germ in your diet every single day. All the rest of these. Okay, so our muscle repair, we got to have some CoQ10. We got to have magnesium glycinate. Now that I have everything that we need in the store now, you guys can go to the website, pick out all of this full protocol. I'm giving this protocol away for free. You guys can send donations if you find that this is working for you. Also, the information in the energy exchange, I would love to actually have your donations. The omega-3s are right here. Your vitamin B1, also vitamin C. Vitamin C gets depleted from alcohol, smoking, a lot of things. And it's your biggest antioxidant when it comes to your adrenals. So if you ever want to calm down or actually take yourself off of prednisone, vitamin C would be a very good thing to use. Also adding vitamin E. This has good vitamin E in it. Wheat germ has good vitamin E. These are antioxidants. We got to add this back to our system for this muscle repair. We got a lot of muscle weakness that's going on. So make sure that you add the zinc, CoQ10, B1, all of those different things. Now, cortisol balance. I did not bring in the ashwagandha. I think somebody bought some, but I do have ashwagandha in here. Ashwagandha basically calms down anxiety. You know how you go to the doctor and you're about to get your blood pressure checked and they give you the white coat syndrome. The white coat syndrome is basically you get high blood pressure because the doctor is checking you out. A little anxiety. But if you use the stress adapter or the ashwagandha by itself, I also put up here other herbs like holy basil and rhodiola. Those are all inside of here as adaptogen herbs. Whenever you're going through a battle, something going on in the world that's stressful, this is what you use, the stress adapter. Or just use ashwagandha. This is known to calm down anxiety. You could probably add ashwagandha to a little shot glass and take that right before you go to the doctor. Your pressure will be just fine. Some people like to use apple cider vinegar, but what if you have GERD? What if you have, gastric reflux or something like that? Then the apple cider vinegar wouldn't be so good to use. Right. I put up here, I didn't write it down, but for those of you guys that need extra help, cholesterol is lowered by garlic. So I can get rid of this plaque with garlic. I can lower my pressure with garlic. I can fix my immune system with garlic. Garlic is like one of the go-to herbs that you want to always consume. This is the garlic powder, but you can also take raw garlic if you want to every night. I have a system with honey and garlic that you should use. That way it is palatable. You can take it that way. All right. So a lot of people have been waiting on this part. How do we wean off of the medication? How do we wean off the medication? All right, family. Y'all can go ahead and press highlights. Y'all can go ahead and press followers, at highlights. I'm getting to my last part of this section. And I want to share with you guys, how are we weaning off of this medication? Of course, we got our blood pressure program. Now, if you need this program, you can go to the website, order it. It's like $10 on there. But then you can go ahead and get the supplies. But the blood pressure program is $250. Comes with all this stuff that I'm naming right now. And I give you a bundle price so that you can make sure that you can afford it and be able to utilize it the proper way. It comes with the paperwork and everything. So I just want my people to heal. I don't want them to going back to those pharmaceutical drugs that's causing so many other problems. So we are weaning off week by week. We got our first month, 30 days. We still taking blood pressure medication in the first 30 days. But we're going to implement all these different things. But I want you to take your blood pressure. It tells you 7 a.m., check your blood pressure. 12 p.m., check your blood pressure. 5 p.m., check your blood pressure. 10 p.m., check your blood pressure. You want to have a good calendar set up every day. That way you will be able to take this calendar to the doctor and say, hey, I've done this for 3 months. I don't need this medication no more. I'm already off of it. I took myself off of it by using this program right here. All right. And on week 4, which is the second month, we want to drop. Just say if you were on a calcium channel blocker and a diuretic, you want to drop the diuretic first. All right, we drop the diuretic. Because a lot of the diuretics are causing more deficiencies, and we can get rid of that. So for 2 weeks, we're not going to take one of the diuretics per week. Okay, so the next 2 weeks after that, we can drop 2 of those pills. All right, we got to monitor our blood pressure to see where we are. We possibly at that second month in the second week, we might be able to drop one of the calcium channel blockers as well. Just monitor yourself, and I would say you're dropping 2 of the diuretics, because we don't want to be on none of this by the time we get to the third, and we're going to drop 1 of the calcium channel blockers. Okay. And keeping the hydration protocol. We want to make sure that those cells are hydrated. We don't want to circulate any of these old. We're getting rid of this stuff. So I would say around week 10, we should be able to completely or be able to drop at least 4 days of the diuretics and 2 days of the calcium channel blockers. All right. Hopefully y'all understand what I'm doing right now is weaning you off. All right. We're taking our time because we want to make sure that our blood pressure is keeping stable for 3 days out of the week. And we don't need this medication. So we're keeping it stable for, if you see those 3 days, and you'll see in my protocol, if you see 3 days, that means you can drop 1 more medication. All right. Next 3 days, you don't need it, drop 2 more medications. Next 3 days, basically, you're dropping 3 of that week. So by the time we get to 14 to 16 weeks, this is around the 3rd month, guys, you shouldn't need any more. No more diuretics. All right, no more diuretics. I'm just saying if you were on 2. And by the time that 16th week or the 15th week, you should be only taking about 4 days of the calcium channel blockers. You keep this up, you won't need it at all. So I'm thinking, and I've done this plenty of times, that I know for a fact that we can get off of these medications. Okay? We can get off these medications. I got my people from September to December, by the 1st of the year, no more medications. And we do this each year. So hopefully you guys will go ahead and join my group so you can be on a program with us so that you won't feel alone. We'll show you how to eat, of course. It's all plant-based. And I don't really limit, things like omega-3s. Like we need those fish oils. We need the wheat germ oil. So no, we're not doing all vegan. We're not all vegan. We need certain things. We need carnitine. We need all these different things. So, you guys, hopefully you understand what's going on here, but this is how we do our blood pressure program. And if you need assistance, I am available for consultations. But really and truly, all you have to do is join the groups to just follow along. We have a great healthy challenge throughout our total detox group. I do have men's group that has the yang power, and we talk about all men's situations and hormones and prostate and testosterone building. We have a women's group that we talk about endometriosis, fibroids, and all those type of women's issues. So whatever one fits you best, but I think the total detox group is the best because it allows you to know how to eat. You'll see the different protocols, and it's only $5 a month. All right, so I'm going to end it here, guys. I only do 1-hour-long classes. I want you guys to take heed to the information. If you can share with your family members, get them the help that they need to get off of these medications, because in the long run, they're going to be adding more to that's what they do. They're pharmaceutical drug dealers. They push it more on you and end up with another problem. So thank you guys for listening. I look forward to your donations. Send your donations to $Shalom Health on Cash App. And I will be in a total detox group answering questions if you guys need me. Blessings.